Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Beth and it is so nice for you to join me today. I am here with my wrap up and an update on the books that I am reading and have been reading through February. So let us start with Bleak House by Charles Dickens. I am listening to this and reading along with it. Sometimes I have the book with me, sometimes I do not. So I've made it to chapter 8, page 103. I know that's not very far, but I have been reading other things and also diamond painting. This is about the case is Jarndyce and Jarndyce versus Jarndyce, and we see perspectives we see it from Esther Summerson's perspective. So she is a companion to a lady, and the lady's name, or the girl's name, is Ada Clare. And so that is about all I know right now. I'm also rereading House of Sky and Breath. I'm physically reading this one. I do have the audiobook, but I haven't been reading it. I'm on page 298, chapter 27. And if you're not familiar with the Crescent City series, this is about Bryce Quinlan. And in House of Sky and Breath, something happens. Not House of Sky and Breath. House of Earth and Blood, something happens in the very beginning that sets the tone, and it's kind of like a spoiler if you tell what actually happens, but she spends the rest of that book seeking justice for what happened. And so this one goes a different way, and the Umbra Mortis is her counterpart, I guess you would say, her fated mate, and this is him, the fallen angel. Angel of Death is what he is referred to. And so that's what I am reading as well. I'm also reading Twice Lived Tales. I've only made it a few pages into that one. That's by Shatona Havoc. The first book I finished, A Caribbean Mystery by Agatha Christie. This was a reread, and I read it for Chantel, her Patreons. She's doing a read along with her Patreons, and I am a member of that. I gave it 5 stars. This is about Miss Marple, and she goes to the Caribbean, and she meets an old gentleman, a war hero, and he is going to show her a picture of a murderer, and he looks over her shoulder and sees somebody and quickly puts the pictures away, and he winds up dead. So Miss Marple must solve the case. The next book I read was 9 Lives by Peter Swanson. And this book I gave, I'm not really sure, I can't remember, 4 stars. It reminded me of And Then There Were None, and he actually alluded to Agatha Christie's books in his book. And a list is sent to 9 people, was actually sent to people, and it has 9 names on it, and one by one they begin to die, and so they're trying to figure out the murderers. the next book I read was, actually, I finished Emma. This was a January read. This was picked out by my mom. And this is about Emma. And trying to remember the hero's name, the Mr. Knightley. Emma tries to play matchmaker, and she gives some advice to a friend, and it's the wrong kind of advice. And Mr. Knightley tells her that he basically tells her she's a fool, but he's also always honest with her. And so they disagree on that. And yeah, it was a really good read. I gave it 4 stars. And yeah, then I finished Agnes Grey, even though my and this is by Anne Bronte. This was my first read of Anne Bronte's works, and this is about a young girl named Agnes Grey who becomes a governess at 18 to help her family. She begs her mom to help her find a position. She ends up with this dreadful family. The kids are horrible, and they just get worse and worse and worse, and the parents won't make them mind. And so she goes home, and she asks her mom to help her find a different placement, where she meets a young man who is what do they call them? He's like a rector, I guess, I think is what he's referred to as. And the quote on the back says, "What business had I to think of one that never thought of me?" And I just love that quote. I gave this 5 stars. So, yes, wonderful book. And then the last book I read for February was, I've put up here because it was an ebook. It was The Mystery of Mrs. Christie by Marie Benedict. I gave this 5 stars. This is about the 11 days that Agatha Christie went missing. And I know that the author took liberties, but it was just such a great portrayal of Agatha Christie and what she might have done during this time. It was a rough time for her, and she was going through a lot of different things, I'm sure, because, you know, you kind of know based on the time period what was going on in her life. And being the queen of mystery, did she cook something up? And did this really happen? And so that is it. That is my wrap up. Those are the books I'm still currently reading as well. And if you made it this far in the video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me, click that subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next video.